Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from Jenny Card Designs. My YouTube channel contains content that is intended to share paper crafting, tutorials, and inspiration with all of you. I hope that you enjoy. In today's video, I'm going to be making an elegant card using the Gina K Designs A Big Hello stamp set and the coordinating dies. So I'll be doing quite a bit of heat embossing in this video, so I'd just like to show you how I store all of my heat embossing supplies. So in this clear container I have with a hinged lid, I just keep this on my desktop so it's easily accessible when I need it, and inside of it I keep all the things that I need for embossing. I've got an anti-static powder bag, some coffee filters, a few paintbrushes to sweep away excess powders. I've got my Gina K Designs watermark ink and a refill in there as well, and then all of my most used embossing powders. So for today's video, I'm going to be using the Hero Arts Platinum embossing powder, and I'll grab my anti-static powder bag, my watermark ink, and a coffee filter. And then I've also got a book full of stencils. So this is how I store all of my stencils. This works for me because I don't have too many. I have a book full, but this is how I like to store them. I just flip through all of my stencils to see what I want to use for each project. I think this works best for my creative process. So today I'm going to be using the Gina K Designs Foliage Stencil. So I'm going to pull that out of my stencil book, and then I'm going to get this taped down over top of a piece of cardstock on my work surface. And I'm just using some low-tack painter's tape for this. And I'll use my anti-static powder bag and cover my cardstock so that my embossing powder will only stick where I want it to. And I'm going to take my Gina K Designs watermark ink and I'm going to press it over top of my stencil. I'm being very careful not to twist my ink pad and just press down firmly. And then I'll take this cardstock over to my coffee filter and sprinkle my embossing powder over top of it. And I've got a little bit of embossing powder where I don't want it, and that's what I use those paintbrushes for inside of my little container. So I'll sweep that away, and then I'll put all of the embossing powder back into the jar, and then I will heat set this until it's smooth and melted. Now I wanted to do a second layer of embossing powder, so I'm going to take my anti-static powder bag and cover my cardstock again. And then I'm going to get the stencil lined up back over top of the image and get it taped down. Now this time I'm going to go in with a sponge dauber. I'm going to ink up my sponge dauber with my watermark ink, and I'm just going to pat the ink onto the stencil. I'm just going straight up and down. I'm not twisting or turning or anything. I'm just pouncing straight up and down. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll sprinkle my embossing powder, sweep away any excess, and then I'll clean up my work surface. I just use a big Stanley paintbrush for that. And then I will heat set this until it's smooth and melted. Here's a close-up look at that embossed background. I think it's really pretty when you double up on the embossing powder. It really stands up off that cardstock. So also I want to show you this tool here. This is the Creative Detailer tool. Now it works very well for stray embossing powder bits. You just have to take your time and just go slow. It's not like a regular eraser, so if you're expecting it to work like that, it's definitely not going to work that way. So this is a very slow process. You just go over top of the errors that you want to fix gently and be patient because they will come off. Okay, next we're going to do some stamping. I've got the Gina K Designs A Big Hello stamp set. I'm going to stamp the word hello and the butterfly from this stamp set in Gina K Red Velvet ink. And then I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm going to stamp with Gina K Designs watermark ink, and I'm going to sprinkle a sparkle embossing powder over top of my stamped images, and then I'll heat set that until it's smooth and melted, and that'll just give me a nice glittery effect, and we'll still have that nice red in behind it. So I decided I'm going to add a few flowers to this as well. I'm going to grab the 2 flowers from this stamp set, and I will ink them up and do the same process with the red velvet ink, the watermark ink, the sparkle embossing powder, heat set till it's smooth and melted, and then I'm going to take all of these to my die cutting machine and get the images cut out. For the word hello, I decided I'm going to use a layering set that I have in my stash. I think this is from Spellbinders. It's old and probably discontinued, but you can use any shape die for this. So once my elements are all cut out, we'll get over to assembling this card. I've got some Gina K Designs red velvet cardstock, and I've cut a 7x10 piece of cardstock to make a 5x7 card. And I'll just use my score buddy and my bone folder and score it and crease the fold. And then I will take some black cardstock and mat the embossed layer with a small 1/8 of an inch border around it. I really think that helps separate the background from the nice red color. And then I decided to use both the black and the red to just give a grounding space for our sentiment to sit on top. So I'm just using my pencil to mark how much I need of the red cardstock, and I'll get that adhered to my card front. And then I'm going to cut out a strip of the black as well and glue that to the front of my card. And then I'm going to place the sentiment on top of this. So I used a little bit of foam squares to pop up my sentiment. So I'm just going to use some more foam squares and pop up my elements and finish off this card. Okay, next I'm going to create an envelope for this card, and I'm using my templates that I've designed, and I'll leave a link in the description for a free downloadable PDF. I will also leave a link in the top right corner of the screen here to a video that showcases how to use these templates. But I'll walk you through it really quickly right here. So I'll get our cardstock with the 8.5 inch side into the scoreboard, and the first score mark we're going to make at 1/4 of an inch. And the second one will be at 8 inches, and then we'll flip the cardstock around to the 11-inch side and make a score at 2.25 inches, and then another score at 7.5 inches. And that's it for the scoreboard. We'll get this out of the way, and then we're going to follow the steps in the template, and we'll cut off the sides and then create a little bit of an angle cut on what's left of the side flaps to make the envelope easier to close. We'll round up the corners, and then I'll crease all of the folds with my bone folder, and then I'm going to grab some liquid glue and adhere this envelope together. While I was in the middle of this project, my husband came with a muffin. This is a banana and chocolate chip muffin, and it's absolutely delicious. I had to stop and take a break and eat my muffin, and then I'm going to finish my project. I put some double-sided adhesive on the flap of this envelope, and here is the finished project. So this card fits perfectly inside of this coordinating envelope. I use the same Gina K Designs red velvet cardstock for that. And here's a close-up look at the finished card project. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending a little bit of your time with me here today. I appreciate all of the support, the likes, the comments, and the subscribes. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love to have you along my card making journey. Coming up on screen are a few videos that I think you may enjoy. And thanks again for watching. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!